everyone, welcome back to my channel Marvelous Manvita. So recently I have been doing a lot of Kung Fu Panda videos and dance videos, but finally today, after a long time, I want to do a science experiment. So I think my last science experiment was aqua ionizer, like I did it with my cousin, and finally today I want to do another science experiment based on something called density and buoyancy. So first, we're going to do this experiment, and afterwards I'm going to explain the chemical reaction and what actually happened. So the things you'll be needing for this experiment is 2 glasses of tap water, a spoon, some salt, and a lemon. So let's get started. Alright, now let's start the experiment. So I'm going to take one of these glasses of tap water. So this is pure tap water and I didn't mix anything in it like salt or anything. So the salt, we're going to do it later, but first we're going to take only 1 glass. And we're just going to take this lemon and we're going to put it inside and see if it sinks or floats. Oh, see guys, so it's basically sinking and it's touching the bottom. So now let's do the experiment once again, but this time we're not going to do it with regular tap water. We're going to do it with salt water. So basically this is also another glass filled with tap water. It's pure tap water, but we have some salt now. We have some salt here. So we are just going to add the salt into this glass like this, and let's just mix it. So we just have to keep mixing until the salt is fully dissolved into the water. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it will be dissolved pretty quickly. Alright, there is still a little bit of salt at the bottom, but that's completely fine because I think that the salt has mixed with the water a little bit. Okay. So now we're going to do the same experiment again, but this time instead of placing the lemon in regular tap water, we're basically going to place it in salt water because this is tap water, but it's actually mixed with salt. So are you ready? Let's do this. So here's the twist. It's actually not going to sink. I'm going to show you. Oh, see guys? So it's not sinking and it's not going to the bottom. It was almost sinking, but it suddenly came up and now it's floating. See? Now it's coming up again. So this is the experiment. And now I'm going to explain what actually happened. So for explaining, I just need to remember which one is salt water and which one is regular tap water. I'm just going to put the lemon in front of the regular water and the salt in front of the salt water to indicate that this is salt water. Alright, so now let's start the explanation. Basically, there is something called density. So, density is basically like height, width, not width actually. It's not exactly about length, but it's like about weight and all those things. So that's the meaning of density. So, whenever you drop an object in regular water, the density of the object that we're dropping, the density of the lemon determines whether it will sink or float. So basically, if there is a lot of density in this object, means like if it's really heavy, then obviously it will sink because the water cannot hold it, so that's why it will sink. But if it has less density, then it is likely to float. So that is basically the topic of density. But now, so even though this is salt water, this is still water, right? So why, even though this has so much density, why is it floating? That's the question, right? And it's obviously because we mixed salt, but what does salt do? Why is salt important in this experiment and what happened? So now, let's forget about density and I'm going to introduce a new topic to you all, and it is buoyancy. So buoyancy is a force that opposes the density of an object. So guys, like, you know, there's a better way to explain this. So I'm going to take an example. Think that this lemon is a ship. It's a boat. And think that this is the ocean. So the ocean has salt in it because it's saline water, it's salt water. So whenever this boat is, you know, going on the ocean, it always floats. But why does it float? That's the question. And it's because of salt. So whenever we're placing this lemon in regular water, there was no buoyancy force that is created. So due to the lack of buoyancy and due to the increasing of density of the object, it's sinking. But if we just take this out and place it in salt water, then a force of buoyancy is created. That's why it floats. And buoyancy is a force which is opposing the density of an object. So I'm not sure exactly about buoyancy because I'm just learning about buoyancy and we haven't dived deeper into the depths of buoyancy. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure if buoyancy is completely about salt, but we don't know exactly. But actually in the water, the salt, which is mixed into the water, the salt water, creates a force of buoyancy. And due to that buoyancy, even though it wants to sink, even though the density of the lemon makes it sink, the buoyancy is stopping it and pulling it back up, and it's opposing that force of density. So basically, buoyancy is a force that opposes density of an object. So that's today's lesson, and I hope you understood this simple but really educational and fun experiment. I hope that you found this video entertaining and also educational. So after a long time, I have actually done this kind of science experiment videos, and I'm so happy today to share this simple but really nice experiment with you guys. So even though it's really simple, like in regular tap water, it will sink, but in salt water the lemon will float. Even though it's a really simple concept, there's actually a lot of science behind this. So in every day-to-day things we do, there's a lot of science behind everything. Even how I'm moving and how I'm talking right now, there's a science. So that's why science is my favorite subject, and even though we learn science, we never know if it's true or not. So there are mysteries all around us, and I hope that you were able to grasp some knowledge out of this experiment, and maybe if this is useful to you, then you can even see for yourself the buoyancy created by the salt water and the density of the lemon at your home too by conducting and doing this simple but really fun and educational experiment. So bye everyone. If you like this video, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to Marvelous Manvita. See you next time. Bye!